Hello. So I've been thinking about this video, and obviously it's just been in my head for a little bit, so I have to actually make it. Um, so yeah, I have this whole history with death and spirits and different things, and foreseeing death and births. That's where my life is. I know when people are going to have babies. I know when people are going to die. And then I know transitions in between that. It's just what it is. Okay, so recently I had someone ask a question. And the question came about because we were discussing a particular spirit that was in my presence. And that spirit made me extremely sad. And then in discussing that spirit, we jumped to another conversation about a different spirit. And I made a comment that, that spirit doesn't even care about what's going on now. And the person asked me, how can spirits care? How can a spirit grieve or feel? And so I'm going to maybe discuss it for you guys. So as humans, we always put things in our perspective of what we feel, what we think, and this moment of being a physical being on this earth. So, of course, we assume that before we got here, we did not exist, and we assume that after we leave, we really won't exist, right? There's a lot of different things that people think happen. I just so happen to have a different understanding. I understand that before we come into physical being in the flesh, we are alive. We are a being of sorts, a spirit, a energy, and we are forever going. And I also understand that when we die in the physical, we are still alive, a energy, a being. We are still going. It's just transitions into a different energy. And then from that, we transition again, just as we decide. But it's a process and there's a time to it. And I've spent quite a few years trying to understand this process and this time. And that's because, like, spirits come, kind of make themselves known. And in my head, I kind of feel like it's around a 5-year period before they transition to this other point, but I digress. But when there have been times when someone has been close to death and a spirit would grieve my spirit, in the essence that the spirit would come, hang around, remind me of things, and then that person that I'm talking about ends up dying, or the spirit is grieved about ends up dying. It doesn't mean the spirit is upset, crying boo-hoo. No, it just lets me know that there's another transition happening. And sometimes that transition is for a person that is among the living, meaning in the physical. And then, of course, sometimes it makes me really, really sad, and sometimes not. Later on, I'm going to have to make a video explaining to you guys how you can extend life, meaning when a person is ready to die and yet somebody comes through and does things to extend their life and what that actually means and what it involves. But that's for a different time. But understand this, it's not that the spirit is like, oh, boo-hoo, my husband is getting ready to join me. No, it is really a way to allow me and people like me to be prepared for the absence of that particular person, or to be warned that something is going to happen, like somebody's sick, because that energy impacts people like me and others who are connected to those who are dead, in that sense. So maybe this video will help you understand that they're not like crying like you and I are like crying, but they are aware. Let's just put it that way. And the other thing is sometimes there is like this connection between that person who is still in the physical and the person who died. Because a lot there oftentimes I see is the person who is still alive would not allow the person who has transitioned to completely be out. They will continue to hold on to part of that energy. Instead of allowing them to be free and move on to the next part of their existence. So, I know somebody's going to have a question about this, and I get these questions, and they don't normally come on any of my social media platforms. They come when I'm talking to people. So, you guys, if you want me to answer something, you can put it on one of my social media platforms. But I know you don't want anybody to know that you're asking about it, so I got to make a random video about it when you ask. All right. Hope this helps. Bye.